Planned events to celebrate the 250th anniversary of our nation are shaping up to be less about the country and more about President Trump himself. You may have noticed the White House South Lawn looks a bit different this week as crews were spotted erecting an octagon-shaped cage that will host a UFC fight next month commemorating America's 250th anniversary and coincidentally, President Trump's 80th birthday. The White House's 250th celebration plans hit another roadblock this week, and after at least 6 artists slated to perform at the Great American State Fair this summer either dropped out of the event or said they never signed on for an explicitly political performance. By the way, the organizers have now deleted this post showing the lineup of musical acts. My goodness.
I don't know. Sydney King, who's the producer, she got the people to put them X's on the people's faces like that. Crazy.
What do you think about this? Did you show us a photograph of you walking?
Yesterday I took my little morning walk, and I was at the Washington Monument, and I do this little thing where Thomas Jefferson's statue at the Jefferson Memorial looks directly at the South Lawn, and so I turned. And there was the octagon. And it's just so jarring. I mean, it looks like a portal.
Ugly.
Yeah, it's ugly, and it looks like I watch too many sci-fi movies.
So what's interesting to me here, right? There's all this talk about a ballroom, but it looks like, you know what? You can hold official events, not necessarily in a ballroom.
So strange.
How about that?
One of the things I think that is really important here is that, and our producers have been making this point as we've been talking about this, this is supposed to be about the country. This is supposed to be how our country went from nothing to 250 years of being a global superpower, of allegedly being a shining city on the hill, of being a place where we take care of each other. All of those things are becoming less true every single day. There's also this aspect of it where it's all about Trump. Listen to Scott Bessent, the Treasury Secretary at the White House on Thursday, because now maybe Trump will be on a $250 bill.
Jeez.
There is proposed legislation that in front of the House, in front of the Senate, to change the first requirement so that a living person, Donald J. Trump, could be on the $250 bill. I don't think that there's anything untoward about having the President of the United States, the person who was President of the United States, on the 250th anniversary bill.
This is insane.
So you know what, though? I want them to do it. I want them to do it because it is politically dumb, right? At a time when we have this cost of living crisis, this is one of these type of things that real people, average people can understand and see that they have misplaced priorities. So you know what? Let's see.
I don't want any kind of accident.
I don't use cash, so I will never see it. I think a lot of people don't use cash.
Funny.
Don't nobody use cash.
But you know what? Putting his face on a $250 bill, putting his face on a coin, putting his face on passports, putting his names on monuments, doing all these things, the triumphal arch, to me, this is him ensuring that he will not be forgotten, because what usually happens is a former president, a former, since long past president, the nation decides we want to honor you with a memorial. We want to honor you in this very public way. But that happens long after they're gone. It's when history has had a time to judge the presidency. And he's like, I know history's not going to be kind to me. So here's everything. I want to be on everything.
And also, he wants to see it. I think that is also what's really important. He knows that, but he also wants to see it himself.
It's all about his legacy.
We're going to have to leave it there before we get in trouble.